Janet continued changing into a snake and kept finishing her neighbors day after day, to the extent that over 16 of her neighbors had died because of her. But here's the shocking part. Her husband had begun to notice something was not okay, because whenever Janet went out at night, something would happen to one neighbor by morning. She kept lying to him that she went for night prayers and other things. Her mother-in-law was already tired. She quarreled with her mother-in-law countless times because her mother-in-law wanted her son to marry a wife who could give her a grandchild, which Janet could not. Janet finally got tired of her mother-in-law and decided to show her another side. So she used her witchcraft to place a curse on her. While her mother-in-law was traveling back to the city, she had an accident that left her disabled and unable to talk. Finally, that woman won't be able to walk here or tell my husband anything again, she said. One of her neighbors, Mr. Innocent, was a womanizer. I mean, he liked to go after other people's wives instead of marrying a wife. Mr. Innocent had been eyeing Janet for a while. He saw how beautiful she looked and he had been thinking of a way to get to her, even though he knew she was married. So that sunny day, Janet was going out to the market, and boom, he approached her and told her he liked her. That sounds crazy, but he innocently believed that with money, you could convince any woman. You like me? Janet asked. Yes. Listen, I know you are married, but this is what we do. I know you need money. Your husband won't give you all the money you need because you are just a housewife. We, the big men, will give you what you want just for one night, he said confidently. Janet laughed. Janet laughed in her mind. Maybe I need to use this man as my next food. I am hungry, she thought. She pretended to believe Mr. Innocent and told him that she liked him too and that they would meet in his house at night. Don't worry, I am hungry for you, she said. Mr. Innocent went back to his house happily. She says she's hungry for me, he shouted. But he was wrong. Janet meant something else. Then suddenly, he began to think, how can they meet at night instead of day? A married woman must be sleeping with her husband at night. Or maybe she has a way to come out. He screamed happily, ready to enjoy himself. The night finally came, but this time, Janet's husband was not fully asleep. Immediately, Janet stood up, and he secretly followed her. Janet didn't turn into a snake immediately. She just wanted to walk to Mr. Innocent before doing her thing. Her husband followed her and saw her walking into Mr. Innocent's house. Immediately, he felt heartbroken. So this was the prayer she had been doing, cheating on me? He felt so angry and rushed to Mr. Innocent's house, where he saw him opening the door for his wife and began to drag him. Janet was shocked to see her husband. How dare you touch my wife? He shouted. It got to the extent that he set Mr. Innocent's house on fire and also made sure he felt it with him. He dragged his wife back to the house and locked her inside a room, taking the key. You are not getting out of that room, he said. By morning, the police came and arrested Mr. Paul for setting someone's house on fire and also for assaulting the person, even though the person had tried to take advantage of his wife. Janet sat in the room where her husband had locked her. She was sad. At 12, she changed into her snake form and got out of the locked room. That was when she realized that her husband had been arrested by the police, all because of one man, Mr. Innocent. That man would die the most painful death, she screamed. Janet changed into a snake and changed back into a human. She was so angry and confused. Because of her neighbor Mr. Innocent, her husband was now in prison. Because of that same Mr. Innocent, her husband now thought she was cheating on him with Mr. Innocent. She thought about sending him to his ancestors like she did to others, but the police might suspect her husband and even keep him in prison for a long time. By the next day, the neighbors began to mock Janet and gossip about her, only if they knew who and what she could do to them. Hey, so she went to sleep with another man and her husband caught her, one person said. My sister, I knew with all that beauty she must be cheating. Can you imagine her husband even set Mr. Innocent's house on fire instead of blaming his wife? Another neighbor whispered. Janet overheard what they said and she marked their faces. Today will be their last day on earth, Janet said. Then she walked to Mr. Innocent and pleaded with him to release her husband. She just had to plead because for now, if she did anything to him, it would be totally suspicious and add more oil to the pot. Release your husband. Did you see what he did to my house? Well, I am rich enough to repair my house. I will release him on one condition, Mr. Innocent said. What condition? We will finish what we almost started. One night from you and your husband will be released. Don't worry, this time around no one will catch us. He's already in prison, Mr. Innocent said proudly. Janet just went out of his house without saying anything. She went to the police station and explained to the police that her husband should be released. Put yourself in his position. Imagine you find out your wife is cheating. Caught her. You could do more than burn a house. An angry man is a madman, Janet said. The police looked at her and asked, so you actually cheated on him? No, officer. Somehow the officer felt pity for Mr. Paul and released him. Mr. Paul realized that it was his wife who came to plead for his release. They went home that day, and even though her husband had caught her red-handed, he still could not send her packing because he loved his wife a lot, especially her beauty. Janet was that kind of woman you couldn't walk past without staring at her. But what they didn't know was that she was a snake and had sent at least 16 of her neighbors to their ancestors. That night, at exactly midnight, she woke up. This time, she didn't want her husband to wake and interfere with her mission, so she made him sleep more deeply. Then she turned into a snake and went after the two women who had gossiped about her earlier. That night, she crawled to their homes and sent them to their ancestors, finished them. By the next morning, people found out that the two neighbors were gone. But here is the shocking part of the news. They found out the neighbors had passed away because of electricity, as if they had been electrocuted. Shocking, right? Yes, that's how Janet's power worked. After finishing you, she left you with another symptom or reason for your passing, making it impossible for anyone to find out or suspect what really happened to them. But Mr. Innocent was still alive, still working and driving around, and Janet promised she would take him out. It was just too early. Imagine quarreling with someone and the next day the person is gone. They will suspect you. So she thought of another plan and finally decided to give him a slow and steady sickness until he was done. She cast it on him and so he fell sick. A few days later, Sandra came to visit Janet. She came with a message. She was sent by their snake mother. That is to say that Sandra was also a snake. She came to tell Janet that she was wasting time on her mission. The snake mother says, "Why have you not finished all your neighbors by now?" Sandra asked. "Sandra, lower your voice. It's not that easy. I can't finish everyone in one day." "Finish them," Sandra screamed. "Hope you remember the consequences of failing. Anyway, I'll be staying with you for some days before going back," she added. Sandra began to stay with them but soon realized she was falling in love with Janet's husband.
I hope you enjoyed this video masterpiece. As we wait for another episode, please subscribe to our channel, like the story, and comment on where in the world you're watching from. We'd love to know how far this tale is traveling. Grab some popcorn because what you're about to see in our next episode will question everything you think you know about people.